as we also see, these spaces are clearly identifiable, and access is temporarily, as we can assume, limited and regulated. Maybe I'll just give you a few more seconds to make sense out of the pictures.
To admire the beauty of it. I said to admire the beauty of it.
Yes, to admire the beauty of it. To dream of this beach. According to George Ritzer, these attributes on this slide count for a properly McDonaldized organization of the basing experience. If we look over the characteristics classically used by George to discern the McDonaldized order, we can easily apply them to the Emperor's Tub too. For example, the service time is precisely calculated. You need to book in advance when you also have to determine which components the service should include and which not. And yes, there are usually some choices like milk and honey or chocolate scents instead of roses. Anything else is the same. I'm leaving this slide out for now. However, we also should have a look on potential non-McDonaldized alternatives of baking. The illustrating pictures show an environment where the McDonaldized order is not visible. But the question one can pose is there no order at all? Or, put differently, is there total contingency? I don't want to continue to interpret these beach scenarios, but I do want to suggest a reading of the contemporary commercial basing experiences additional to the McDonaldization theory. My keyword is the infamous Industry 4.0, which, for example, is here described by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research. I'll just give you some time to read it, but I don't think that I need to read it to you. Illustrated by this description, my argument is that the digital transformation is a rather long-term evolution instead of a new revolutionary organization of traditional industry. This also means that the digital transformation is not necessarily attached to so-called new media. To put it differently, new media contribute, but do not exclusively trigger digital transformation. By referring to inevitably co-present interactions like body treatments, I want to seek some evidence for this argument. The case of the Emperor's Tub works to identify processes of digitalization that have occurred throughout modernity and that have had a tremendous impact, including in shaping face-to-face interactions. I argue that digitalization has acted as an organizational principle that has been successfully implemented to shape a genuine social structure of differentiation and recomposition or programming since at least the 19th century. Uppermost among these principles is the division of labor, including the rise of capitalism and wage labor, which is famously explained by classical sociological theory. I think today more recent theoretical arguments for concepts such as the mobility paradigm and intersectionality fit in here too. I actually want to make the point that digitalization, differentiation, and mobility intersect in the shared shaping of modernity. Later postmodern societal structures consequently derive from this ongoing process. However, digitalization is not yet a well-implemented organizational principle within social theory that can explain social order. Social theory rather relies on the organizational principles of individualization, rationalization, and the market. While these principles have gained particular attention when it comes to describing the conditions of modernity, I argue that they stem from digital processes and, at the same time, contribute to further processes of digitalization, thereby rendering digitalization an overarching organizational principle. By pointing to the dynamics of individualization, rationalization, and the market, we can also observe the clear role of the media in literally mediating and coordinating these principles. Moreover, old media function in a complementary way in order to achieve a social structure